It's so abrupt. It just cut off in the mid-riff. It's supposed to fade. Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday, casual conversations for serious workflows, brought to you by schoolofbookkeeping.com, helping you be the best bookkeeper that you can be. And thankfully, I'm not alone today. Rachel's
Sorry, I
decided
meant
to
to
join
join you
us.
last week. There was technical difficulties.
Yeah, and and then you decided to take like a vacation or
I
something
know.
strange and foreign like that. But we're glad to see you back, and you're actually not in your home office. You're somewhere else. Where are you today?
I'm in Las Vegas, and sorry, I just realized it's kind of
Right.
right behind me. Maybe I'll shut that. But yeah, my background. Yeah, I'm in Las Vegas at Mandalay Bay for an e-commerce show called Amazon Prosper, and it's really all geared for Amazon sellers. So it's really cool. There's a lot of incredible innovations coming out in the Amazon world, and I just wanted to share with you guys. I have a little Jeff Bezos bobblehead, and which is very cool. They idolize Jeff Bezos here.
He's not a narcissist at all.
No. So Dan, you and I talk often about inventory and e-commerce, and so I'm here for that. And we use a lot of automation tools for doing Amazon bookkeeping, and I actually really love Amazon bookkeeping, and so I wanted to come here and I'm learning a lot. It's really, really cool.
It is a different kind of world, as we had talked about. The difference between online e-commerce shopping carts and a marketplace, and of course, Amazon is the world's largest online marketplace. So it stands to reason that there would be some kind of convention about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, and there's a whole bunch of people that have ancillary businesses consulting, for Amazon sellers, specifically in fulfillment and packaging and design and advertising, and it's just the list goes on and on.
Somebody was asking on Facebook, "What's that?" I assume that you were referring to the bobblehead that you were just
Oh
holding
yeah,
up.
this is the Jeff Bezos bobblehead. But if they meant what's that, like Amazon Prosper, it's just
Yeah,
a conference for Amazon sellers.
yeah. Clarify your "What's that?" Oh, a
Oh, the
vacation. There,
vacay. Huh.
gotcha. Yeah, you gotta be clarify some of these questions because they usually show up 30 seconds after we've
Yeah, I
talked
usually
about
don't go on vacations. I go on trips. There's a big
it. Right.
difference.
That's their working vacations. There we go. Well, today we're actually going to be talking about a new QuickBooks offering, or is it a new QuickBooks offering? That's really what we're going to be uncovering today about QuickBooks Solopreneur. So the first thing is, what is QuickBooks Solopreneur? If you look at QuickBooks' website, it looks like a brand new offering. But when you look at it under the hood, it looks vaguely familiar like something else. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm glad Rachel's joining us here today. You don't have clients that are the solopreneur, or do you have sole
Yeah.
proprietor?
I do have clients that are solopreneurs, but
Mhm.
they're not in, I think what you mean, QuickBooks self-employed is now become solopreneurs that
Oh, you
exist.
just spoiled the whole
Oh,
workshop.
sorry. So no, And
Forget what
when
you
I
just said.
when I looked into self-employed before, it's actually not a QuickBooks Online product. It is not
Right.
in the suite of QuickBooks Online, and
Right.
it's just a separate standalone product, which I'm guessing this is now too. So no, I don't support any clients on that. All my people are
Yeah.
in QBO.
That's the thing about that offering, right? The quick, like if you go to um like just any QuickBooks site, right? And this I should be sharing this here. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on?
Oh
I'm
boy.
trying to click sign in, and this dropped. Something is really weird with the QuickBooks websites in Chrome for me, because you can see like this everything just runs off the right side of the page. I
Oh,
don't know
see,
what
for me,
happened
it
to the,
only works properly in Chrome.
yeah. But it's like everything is just like off to the side. You look at all the terms, like this one here. I don't know what's going on here, but anywho, if I were actually click on this sign in drop down and stop, just click on it once, what you would see, and if you go to any QuickBooks site that asks you to sign in, come on now, work with me. There we go. You can see there is a separate offering for QuickBooks Solopreneur here, and then right below that is self-employed. So
Oh, so
it
it's a
it
different
it
thing.
begs the question, right? Like, what's the difference between the two? But you look at their website, if you could actually read it, and and the
No,
text
I
didn't
can't read
overlap each other.
it.
It sounds like QuickBooks Self-Employed, right? Because you look at, it's like, okay, well, what can you do? So, you know, me being curious, I decided, okay, well, I'll just set up a trial, right, and see what's going on. So here I have, pow, on the left or right, I'm not sure which it is orientation for you. This one here is QuickBooks Solopreneur. This one
Okay.
here is QuickBooks Self-Employed, right? So
Oh,
uh, they look vaguely familiar, right? Like you've got the left hand navigator. This one, to your point, um, solopreneur doesn't mention anything about self-employed, right? So
mhm.
looking at the website, right, the URL at the top, you can see, and I don't know if I can zoom in a little bit. Nope. When I zoom in, it doesn't bring up the address bar. But if you break out your readers and you want to
Okay, hold on.
can
I will. I
see
will, because
that
I
up at
have
the
it
top.
right here. You can't see anything.
Oh, there you go. It says the website URL is selfemployed.intuit.com,
Yeah.
right? Which to your point of what you were saying, Rachel, is that self-employed is not in the QuickBooks ecosystem because it's in a different
QuickBooks
subdomain, right?
Online ecosystem.
Right. But you look over here in
Even though it
Solopreneur,
is cloud-based, but it's not a
right?
QBO product.
It's
Yeah,
QuickBooks and it's online, but it's not QuickBooks Online,
exactly. Makes
right?
perfect
It's
sense.
yeah, it's kind of like all UPCs are barcodes, but not all barcodes are UPCs,
Or how
right?
about when
So
we say QuickBooks Online Accountant? Don't you love that
yeah,
confusion? Yeah.
right. Or you abbreviate QuickBooks Online Advanced QBOA,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I mean. The QBOA, what you mean
Yeah,
QBO accountant or QBO advanced? Yeah,
yeah.
that's a super fun one that sometimes we get in confusion
One of my
conversations.
one of my favorite phone calls that I gathered into it, just as a side humorous story, water cooler talk here. Uh, Somebody called in and said, "What's this about this Cuboa?" It's like, "Is this a snake?" The QuickBooks snake.
It's the Florida snake. It's a Florida. It's what happens when you use QuickBooks in Florida too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Although I think
Anywho,
there's Burmese pythons on the loose in Florida. But this is like totally taken a random turn. But you
right.
know what? I know that from my son. My son is
What's
obsessed with
your
all the
favorite
Burmese
QuickBooks
pythons.
snake? We'll have that conversation
Yes.
in the chat there. All right. So on the left side, my left over here, we have QuickBooks Solopreneur, and then over on the right side we have um, QuickBooks Self-Employed. The first thing is that where they're physically located. And I think this is where what QuickBooks is doing is that one of the challenges with QuickBooks Self-Employed is accountants didn't care for it, right?
No.
Even though you could invite um, a person to be your accountant, uh, accountants pretty much didn't care for it because you couldn't even reconcile, doing some of the accountant
Yeah.
things that you do for your clients. QuickBooks Self-Employed didn't allow you to do these things
Well,
like reconcile the accounts.
guess what? Now that I'm doing my master's in accounting, I can tell you the reason why.
Oh, okay.
It's so funny.
Do
I
tell.
learn like a little bit as I go. Um, because when we're trying to do financial accounting, which is really sort of the crux of the bookkeeping, at the transaction level, there's certain things we have to do, and you can't do it in self-employed. It's really meant just to sort of like quickly tally up a compliance amount,
Mhm.
that you owe the government. It's not really meant to run your business,
Right.
at least in my opinion. According to sort of the accounting rules that I'm
Yeah.
learning more and more. Not that I didn't know accounting rules, but really in these little accounting world buckets with tax,
Right.
managerial accounting, financial accounting, some of the different functions that we need to do, we can't do them in a product like this.
Yeah. So QuickBooks Self-Employed was in my mind, if you had to put, a target customer to QuickBooks Self-Employed, QuickBooks Self-Employed was the gig person, right?
Mm.
The person that was doing um, something as a hobby but making money at it, right?
Dog
Or
walker,
the
perhaps.
dog walker, the Etsy seller, someone's just kind of starting out,
Hmm.
but has kind of like a side gig, right?
Yes.
They're trying to make sure that they have enough money for rent these days, so they they find
Yes.
something else to do, right? And they're not necessarily an entrepreneurial type of
Mhm.
person. I mean, obviously they are in order to do these sort of things, but they're not going to go get a business license and all of these other things that typically go with. All right, this is my full time thing, and I'm going to
Yeah.
do
Or
this
they
do
want to
this
look
business.
at or they want to look at something like a gross profit margin. That's not really what
Yeah,
they're using their software for.
QuickBooks Self Employed. It's the first big feature that was really um, touted for self-employed was the commingling of personal and business funds, right? And you
Hmm.
could go through every transaction and do this Tinder thing of swipe left for business, swipe right for
Ooh.
for for personal, right? And you can go through the transactions and just kind of because you that's one of the
So
things
it
that
was
you would
really meant
typically do.
for a true filing on a Schedule C, sole
Exactly.
proprietor. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. And without the need to go get a business bank account, find set up a business license and all that stuff where you get an EIN and all
Yeah,
that stuff, right? You're just basically a 1099 Schedule C type of person, and then you're commingling your funds,
yeah,
and then you can mix and match the same thing, right? Like, okay, I'm using my personal car for making deliveries. I want to track the mileage
yeah.
and split it between personal versus business, right? So solopreneur is eerily echoing that same thing. I don't think that you can do this, commingling of funds
Mhm.
and swipe left and right for personal and allocate those types of things. It's more for okay, uh, let's let's put you in the shallow end of the pool of the QuickBooks ecosystem and allow you to grow from there, right? So this
Got it.
is
So you're not
uh,
commingling anymore, but you're
right,
not quite there with you don't really know how to read business financials yet, but you're not going to commingle.
right. So just kind of looking down the side here. I mean, on the left side, we can see these terms look familiar for anybody who has been in QuickBooks Online, right? So you got your
Mhm.
dashboard, you've got your transactions, get paid, customers, and goals. These have actually goals instead of, I think it's customers and leads is what you normally see in QuickBooks Online. Reports, taxes, mileage, and then banking services. So that's the core functionality that you have in the QuickBooks ecosystem. You go through these things, and they look very familiar because they are, QuickBooks Online's pages, right? So it's not, you know, doesn't look any different. You can do invoices and estimates. Uh, I was kind of curious about these goals here. So,
Mm.
this is the well, just kind of like a dashboard, really, is what it looks like of creating goals. I was thinking they were more like, hey, I want to create a goal, and then it will give you some ideas of how to get to that.
Mm.
But no, it's more of a dashboard. Widgets. You have your reports. I'm curious what reports we
Maybe like
have.
there are little mini budgets or something like that. Like you
Yeah,
can set up like a little mini, um,
yeah. Doesn't look like that. It just looks more like it's planning for set a goal. Yeah, there it is. Set a goal, and we'll help you reach it. Which is more of what do you want to do? Okay, we grow my income or get more customers. Well, let's just check this out. How many customers you want to add? When do you want this to happen? Right. So
hmm.
customer acquisition. Blah, blah, 'cause I don't know how to spell acquisition on the fly. Let's see, 300, and then by next year. Oh gosh, I gotta. Well, we'll just say it's September 30th, and then hey,
And then I wonder if it actually is just pulling from, you adding customers and
pick
then
two.
it'll,
Oh, there we go. Yeah, this is pick two. We'll generate some ideas based on your business and selections that you make. So we're going to do it by social and regular advertising. Because I know if I choose email marketing, it's going to pitch me MailChimp.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And actually
Right.
this is
Way
pretty
to
cool
go.
because now I'm wondering if it's gonna if it's gonna pull data in the background, like different transactions that you code to advertising and
Yeah, right.
so on and so forth.
So
It'll
here's
pull in
uh so here's my recommended action. Create targeted social media ads, and then there's links. Yep, which takes me out to MailChimp. I'm looking at the URL.
shock of a
Yeah,
lifetime.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Retargeting campaigns, which also takes me to MailChimp.
Is this a mail chip machine?
I think so. I think
It
I think
is.
so. This is
Every single link on there
yeah,
that goes to
yeah.
MailChimp.
It does. It does. Maybe MailChimp set up a goal that they want to get.
Yeah,
They want to get 3 million new customers by the
yeah.
end of next year, and they realized, hey, if we just embed Mailchimp links inside of QuickBooks, we'll garner a few. Anywho, but it's kind of neat though that it does give
Yeah.
you, you know, a
Well, it
checklist.
looks
You
like
can
it's a
say
lot
whether it's
simpler
helpful
than
or
what
not.
I was
Yep.
thinking because I thought it would
Mhm.
track goals, or maybe it
Right.
does. Maybe it's
Well,
going
it
to
might.
track those
It might.
advertising
If I were to
transactions.
choose another goal, right? If I would go to another goal and set a new goal of grow, well, getting new customers is no longer a goal of mine because it's gone. My other choice is my income.
Yeah.
Uh, make money, and we'll just say 100,000 by 12, 31, 24. Whoa, what
Yeah, I
happened
don't
there?
know what that date naming convention is there.
It's not the Gregorian calendar. Uh, we could do expanding offerings, getting customers. Look at that; it's gonna eat me back to Mailchimp.
MailChimp.
Every answer has something to do with Mailchimp. Let's expand my offerings and offer incentives. Way to go! Where'd they go? There we go. Okay, there's more goals here. Expand your offerings. Send email. It's, it's the second option, which of course, where do you think it takes me? MailChimp. Offering incentives. Hey, I don't see a MailChimp link there, but that's okay. There's still hope for a MailChimp link in there. But in
Dan,
general,
can I
you
ask
got,
you a quick question? Why
yeah.
why do you think they created this? Is this going to replace, or do you think they
I
added on just a new product?
Well, I mean, when I went through the trial, and it asks me, the little setup questions. It asks me my business structure, right? And any choice that I chose that was not a sole proprietor, it said, only, solopreneur is only going to help you create a tax return for a
Mhm.
Schedule C, right?
Right.
So I had to kind of choose a sole proprietor as the option to get the most out of it. But I
Yes.
think in the grand scheme of things, one of the challenges of self-employed um, is that there's nowhere to grow or go, right?
Right.
So you're kind of in this self-employed world. If you want, as you grow, it's like, okay, well, I'm going to take this seriously, and no longer, I'll get a business bank account and do those things that are formal business activities. All right, well, it's the same company. Let's go ahead and go to QuickBooks Essentials now. Oh,
Mhm.
well, you can't.
Right.
Basically starting a new subscription. Um, so I think they're laying the foundation that solopreneur will overtake QuickBooks Self-Employed, because the general tasks that you can do inside of both are almost identical, right? So customer, billing customers, those types of things, tracking your mileage. Um, this one does have self-employed does seem to have the capital link, which doesn't have anything here. But I imagine as things happen and people need business loans, banking services menu will
Mhm.
be something more than just QuickBooks checking. But you can you can see that with mileage and the same functionality is the same, but it's
So then,
in
at a certain
the
point,
QuickBooks
they
ecosystem.
they then potentially they can upgrade that into regular QuickBooks, and then
Yes.
they don't have to
Yeah.
start a new file.
Right. So if I go
Oh, cool.
into account and settings or subscription and billing, that was my first thing, was like, hey, um, oh, I don't want the Capital One rewards. I was expecting to see an upgrade option, which I don't see here. So it's I would assume we'll see this later.
Yeah.
Once it gains some traction. Probably people will request, like, hey, but the foundation is already there, right? To be able to, because it's in qbo.intuit.com, which every other version of QuickBooks is in that subdomain
Yeah.
URL, if you are actually look at it, not this self-employed. Ironically, if I go into my self-employed account, I do have the ability to upgrade, which I'm curious what would actually happen if I did decide to upgrade from here. But you cannot. One of the things I noticed is that you cannot invite an accountant to
Mm.
solopreneur. Um, that may change, right? And thank you, Matt, for watching us in twice. He's simultaneously watching us on YouTube and Facebook. So he's getting a double dose of of solopreneur today. Thank you. Um, so I think that this is a foundation for the end of self-employed at some point, right?
Yeah. Well,
Um,
I have to say I like that they're doing it like this. If they're eventually going to do it where then it's upgradable and into a more robust version of QuickBooks Online, and then you don't have to
Yeah,
start a new file.
it is, and it's less learning curve for somebody, to do
Yeah,
that because they're used to the navigational pieces. Like,
yeah,
well, why is this menu over here as opposed to that? Why is it called invoices as opposed to customers, get paid? And those types of things. So I think in the grand scheme of things, solopreneur will replace, like, what this is just basically rebranding
yeah.
self-employed, but
Well,
they
we're
are
gonna have
still
to.
two separate.
We're gonna have to. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you there. We're gonna have
Yep.
to figure out at then when maybe they add more things, what it integrates with, if anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any ability to add apps or anything along those lines. This was kind of interesting with regards to taxes because this is the advantage, or uh, this is the thing.
Mhm,
I don't know what to call it. This is the thing of this level of product for the
mhm.
sole proprietor, is its ability to send things over to TurboTax, right?
Yeah.
So because they are in a QuickBooks branded product, or an Intuit product that will send things over, that is geared towards, the solopreneur. That was always the advantage for self-employed or solopreneur, is that, okay, once you're done, categorizing your expenses and using it to categorize your revenue, then this will feed into a TurboTax tax return, pretty holistically. Just
Mhm.
send that information over, assuming that you've categorized it, appropriately and where it needs to go, right? So that's the advantage. You've got your oh, there's home office information in here, which I don't believe is in
Ooh,
uh,
that's
is in
helpful.
is in well, there isn't, over here
Oh,
too,
there
so
is.
never mind.
Well,
But
I
these
have to
these
say,
things
I mean,
here,
it looks good. I mean, for
yeah.
somebody that, might just have very, very simple needs, it looks really helpful.
Mhm. So, like, the major things of a Schedule C filer, right? The
Yeah.
vehicle information, the home office deduction,
Mhm.
and healthcare. Those things are going to be trackable, and then they'll just flow into the Schedule C portion of the TurboTax, back and forth, right? So
Yeah.
they can stay within the Intuit ecosystem. Of course, I'm sure that this will be a great um, source, not just for MailChimp, but also for QuickBooks Live, for people to help, right?
Yeah.
Because QuickBooks Live business tax is launching this year.
Oh, is it?
So you're going to have that option as well. Like, well, did I set it up right? Well, guess what? There's someone to help you, review your books or review your return, all within the Intuit umbrella. That is not an independent practitioner. They're
Wow.
under the Intuit ecosystem already. So
QuickBooks Live business tax.
yeah.
Wow. I wonder how that's gonna go over.
Well, we had a pretty good discussion about it with Ted Callahan on the Power Hour. So, when they were announcing that. So, but in the grand scheme of things, we're just here talking about the solopreneur, right? So
Yes.
that's the big thing, the big difference between the two of uh, the difference between QuickBooks Self-Employed and QuickBooks Solopreneur. Initial thoughts, Rachel. What any
I
thoughts that
like
you had?
it. I think it looks good. I mean, I'm just trying to like kind of put myself in the position of like maybe a business owner just starting out, and I'm trying to kind of learn maybe the basics of what to do, what not to do. This seems to be really user friendly to me.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
And I
getting
like
people
the
in
fact
the.
that well, we're not seeing that ability yet, but I like the fact that it potentially has the ability to upgrade to a QuickBooks Online product. So then I wouldn't have to
Mhm.
start a new file, because that's more realistic for me, is that, maybe somebody's doing this on their own
Mhm.
for, a year or two. And then at some point, maybe they're growing and then they need more help and advisory from, a pro advisor that might need to go in as an accountant user. So,
Right.
yeah, I like it. It looks good.
Yeah. So Ledger Artist asked the question here: Can you reconcile in Solopreneur? Uh, I don't think you can. I
I
don't think
no,
that.
I don't think you can, because it doesn't have, it's not
Yeah.
an actual, it doesn't feed into an actual balance sheet and profit and loss.
Yeah. So I'm not seeing any tool or anything like that.
Mm-mm.
You can link your accounts, right, and or upload your transactions, so you get the
Yeah,
bank feed, just
yeah,
like you do in QuickBooks Online.
yeah.
But what you do with it after that, I'll connect a bank or add some transactions and see if I see one, and then I'll put that as a follow up in the comments. But good question there,
Yeah, that's a
Ledger
really
Artist.
good question. And I'm wondering
But
if really the accounting behind it is really just sort of like a trial balance or something like that, like one big ledger. And then that way it's got the ability to just sort of like have
yeah,
money in at
yeah,
top,
because
and
yeah,
then,
looking at the there's no chart of accounts or anything like that, because look at your reports, all 5 reports you have. Uh,
yeah, it's just income statement stuff. So
yeah,
no balance sheet, cash account
yeah,
reconciliations or
which
anything
which
like
you
that.
wouldn't need to fill out a Schedule
No,
C anyway,
no,
right? So,
no.
all right, good question. Appreciate the the engagement here that we're getting from our workshop. So yeah, if you have any questions about a solopreneur, just ask them in the chat comments of wherever you see them, so that we can investigate and review them. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Oh, what happened? Why are you so small? Why are you so tiny?
Oh.
What happened there? There you are. I don't know. Must have been. We'll blame it on Jeff Bezos. So, the bob, the curse of the bobblehead. But Rachel, I appreciate you taking your time out of your convention. Spending your hard-earned money to go to Las Vegas and and decide to do a workshop from the hotel room.
That's okay.
So
No, well, I
appreciate
mean,
that.
you guys know how conference. Sorry, the picture in my background is. I don't even know what's going on here. Um, the
What
Yeah, no,
happens
I
on
mean,
the walls in Vegas?
you know how conferences are. It's like you're walking around forever, and then I stop and get off my feet, and I usually do some work, so it's fine.
Okay. Well, appreciate you all joining us on the workshop, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week on the workshop Wednesday. And I'm stalling to find the outro video. There we go. Bye now.
Bye.